So any question about the agenda, anything you want to add or remove from the agenda that we discussed? Any feedback so far? Anything you want to know before I start, or we can get started? Awesome, good. So let's start. So first thing you need to understand is there is something called metrics. So there are some important metrics that exist within the Meta platform, and you have to be aware of what are the important metrics. So simple thing that you need to understand is Meta works on something called CPM method. So CPM is cost per mille, and mille is a Spanish word, I think, which means 1000. So it simply means what is the cost of displaying your campaign, or maybe delivering your product, video, image, whatever it is, to 1000 people. What is the cost? Let's assume that the cost is for delivering the 1000 people, the cost is let's say 100 rupees. Okay, so for every 100 people it is like 10 rupees, right? That's a simple math. Now there's something called CPC, cost per click. So let's say your ad was delivered to 1000 people, and the total spend for 1000 people is 100 rupees, and out of those 1000 people, 10 people actually clicked on the ad. So what is the 10 people clicked? It's not 10%, it's 10 people clicked. So what is the cost per conversion in that? Like cost per click, it's not cost per conversion, it's cost per click. What is Meta AI, Canva, Chat GPT? I don't know, Abhilasa, Abhisha, whatever your name is, what you're talking about. So can anyone tell me what is the CPC, cost per click? You spent 100 rupees and you got 10 clicks. So the cost per click would be how much? The cost per click would be how much? Can anyone tell me? Cost per click would be how much? It is INR 10. If it is in INR, if it is in dollar, whichever is the currency, we are keeping the same currency. So cost per click is INR 10 because you paid 100 rupees and 10 people clicked, right? Now let's say out of this, one person actually converted. So when I say converted, or let's say two people converted, so the cost per conversion, you paid 100 rupees and two people converted. Converted means they filled up the form, right? So that's the cost per acquisition. Cost per acquisition here is 50 rupees. It is INR 50 because you paid 100 rupees and two people converted. Any confusion so far? The next important metrics in the equation is, any confusion so far? Any confusion on the CPM, CPC, and CPA? Any doubt, any confusion? Any doubt, any confusion? No. Okay, great. Then there is something called average order value. So this is very important for a shopping campaign, because you want to have the higher average order value, and that will help you actually get the something called return on investment. So your return on investment is, or ROAS. You hear this term very often. Return on investment is basically how much did you spend and what was the return, how much did you get back from that spend. So that is the return on ad spend. Let's say you spent 1000, you go 2000 back, so your return on ad spend is 2x, right? The simple math. So these are some of the metrics that you need to be aware of. Now if you have to improve a campaign, there are certain things you need to, certain permutation and combinations you need to understand, and I will have a detailed half an hour session on how to optimize the campaign on the day 4. So you'll understand the relation between all 3 4 metrics, and you need to also understand, let's say If your CPM is high, then what you need to improve. If your CPC is high, then what should you do? If your CPA is high, then which lever you should pull? If your average order value is low, then what are the strategies you can use to improve that? If your ROS and average order value is connected to each other, so if your average order value goes up, your ROS will also go up. So we'll understand that relation also. So that is covered in detail as part of the day 4 optimization practices. So how to optimize a shopping campaign, we'll discuss that in the day 4. So I'll show you how to audit an existing running ad campaign, how to give suggestions to your client, what are the different metrics that you can use to understand and analyze the health of a campaign that is already running, and then other important things we'll discuss on that day. These are the metrics. So we are clear about the metrics. Let's go ahead and understand the second part. Now there's something called tracking. So when everything happens within, Arpita, if you have specific question, ask that. This Alishba Khan, if you are spamming here, we might have to block you. If you have some real questions, let me know. I think you're trying to put a lot of words here, just simple one word. So if you're trying to spam, we'll simply block you. So don't try to do that, please. Here, we want to talk about something very simple, and this is very clear. If at all you have other intentions, I can simply pick and block you from here. So we don't give much attention to you here. Don't try to spam other people, please. Now let's understand how tracking works. So for understand tracking, you need to understand two things. One is called server side tracking. How many of you have heard this word server side tracking? How many of you have heard, sir, once repeat CPC? So CPC is cost per click. Simply, so let's go back. It's CPM. So we have spent 100 rupees to for your 1,000 people to see your ad. So your overall spend is 100 only. So that will be your continuous spend is continuous, right? You spend 100 rupee, 1,000 people show your ad. Now within 1,000 people, 10 people clicked. So the cost is still 100 rupees, right? So you have 10 rupees, that is your cost per click. CPA is how many people actually acquired. So you acquired two people, you acquired their email ID, they filled up a form, or they went on your website to purchase something. Now let's say average order value is 200 per order. So you earned 400, and your total spend was how much? Your total spend was 100 only. So your ROS, or return on ad spend, is 4x. That's the simple math we are talking about so far. Now these are two important terms. If this is not clear, you can talk to me separately. That's okay. Now if we are talking about two things, server side tracking and client side tracking, are you aware of these two terms? Has anybody heard these two terms, server side tracking and client side tracking? Anyone? Okay, so server side tracking and client side tracking, you don't have to worry, it is not a big thing. When you are advertising, there are three parties involved. So one is your website or advertiser. You are advertiser, your website. Then there's a platform called Facebook. So Facebook is like a middleman. Then you have end user, right? So as an end user, you see my ad on Facebook, then you will go to my website and you will do some activity. So how will you do that activity? You will use Facebook's browser if you are on the app, or maybe you are using Chrome, or if you are on Apple, you might be using Safari or Chrome, depending on whichever browser you are favorite, right? So when you are doing some activity on the website, there are two way we can track you. So there's something called pixel. Facebook has something called pixel, and if you want to understand the power of pixel, then you can use this plugin. I'll demonstrate right here. Meta Pixel Helper. So understand, this is important. Download this extension on your Chrome browser. Just add this to Chrome. This is already added in my profile. Now go to any shopping website, name any shopping website, and we'll check it there. Any shopping website. Let's take some example of any protein seller, protein bar seller, because this is one of the example I covered in last week in the market research video, so I remember that. Let's take whey protein 1 kg as an example, and let's go to any website that is selling whey protein directly to the consumer. Let's say this website Muscle Blaze, or you can take example of As It Is Nutrition. Let's go to As It Is Nutrition. Now I'm opening a pixel. There is a extension on my browser, it's called Meta Pixel Helper. Do you see this number 2 here? This number 2 here. So basically what is happening is Meta is able to track my browser activity. There is a JavaScript code that this website has, which is called Pixel, and that code is installed in my, the moment I open this website, that code will automatically become active in my Chrome browser. And with help of that Chrome browser Pixel, Meta will be able to get some information about what am I doing on the website. So if you see here, it will help me understand what all information is sending back, what all information it is sending back to the website owner, to this website, and also to Meta. URL is visible, load time is 25 milliseconds, pixel location is visible, button features are visible, button text is not visible. If I scroll down, it will be visible. Form features, other features are visible. So there are 3 4 different type of events, which is basically simple way of what kind of action I'm taking, right? So it's slightly complex for you if you are hearing it for the first time, but just bear with me and keep looking at this pixel. Are you able to see my screen clearly, guys? Are you able to see this pixel that I'm showing here? Keep looking at this pixel when I'm taking certain action. So I'll go to a website shopping ad, I'll go to maybe hair protein section and see what changes happen inside the meta pixel. So it says button click detected. Now some additional events are getting fired. Let me zoom in so that you can clearly see it. uh, okay, just for a second. Later, see, when I zoomed in, I'm hoping that you will be able to see it, but still it is the same size. So setup method, you don't have to worry about this part. You don't you have to see what kind of data is actually supplied back to Meta. So it has detected one button click, which I did. I clicked on one URL. Then it says view content. So I'm looking at the page which say page name is Atom Whey Protein. This is the page I'm seeing. It is also supplying a content ID, which is the unique ID that is assigned to this page. Then content type is product, and what is the value of product? 569. So all this information my Chrome browser is sending back to Meta, saying that this user came from your insta, like Facebook. Right now I'm not coming here from the Facebook, this is an organic traffic because I searched on Google. But Meta is able to track every activity that I'm doing on your website if you have installed a pixel. So I'm clicking on view content. Then it has marked me as an engaged visitor because I visited more than 2 pages, I've already spent some time. So these are different tags that Meta is supplying back to the page. Now let's do one more thing. We will click on add to cart. Let's see what happens. I'm reducing the size of page back to normal, and I'll click on add to cart. Now let's go back to the pixel and see. You see there is an add to cart, additional pixel has been fired. So I have added an item to cart. it is a product and the value is 569. So this is all information is supplied back to Meta. Next option you have is checkout. So the moment you click on checkout, you'll see there is an additional tag fired by Meta. It says content type is product group and user has clicked on checkout. So this is an additional information that has been supplied by your browser. So this is called client side tracking. The entire activity that we discussed just now is called client side tracking. Any confusion so far on the client side tracking, guys? Any confusion on the client side tracking? Anything you want to ask about client side tracking? Then we'll go about the next part. Anything you want to know? No questions? Are you clear about what we discussed, or no understanding at all? Okay, great. So now let's move to the next part, which is the server side tracking. So this is a one medium of tracking, and this used to be the only medium that Facebook had before the iOS 14 update. So after iOS 14, Meta had a significant problem. So one of the thing that happens on Facebook is we are able to target people who you are using a specific device. So there was a significant conversion or buying habits that Meta was able to track for all the Apple users. So maybe Apple was not happy because there were some confusions about revenue sharing, and then there was a continuous debate around privacy. I don't want to get into that because that is not the topic of our class right now. Maybe some other day we'll discuss about privacy and other things. If at all that are important for you, then you can join that session. But because of that, something happened. Because of that, Meta was not able to track. So earlier it was very easy for it to uh, have the pixel and get the entire information directly from user's browser. So all the information that you have just seen is going back from my browser. So there is no role of the website owner here, right? But if you have seen the three actors that are part of this entire exercise, the website also collects this information, right? So once they were not able to track the end user activity because of the tracking issues, what happened? Meta was able to come up with something called conversion API. It's also called CAPI. You might have heard this word frequently if you are into advertising domain in Meta. You might have heard this term called CAPI or conversion API. So what conversion API does is, because all the activity that we performed in the last session when I was showing you this website, everything that we performed here, this information is also collected by the website owner, right? The entire activity that I did is also connected to the website owner. Now, there are two things here. The website owner is able to collect everything about the activity I did on their website. So they know that I came to a page, I clicked on a product, I added it to cart, I did a checkout. They also know that I have uh, added the product that is costing around 569. So all that information is available with the website owner, but they don't know my name, they don't know my email ID, they don't know anything that is personally identifiable so far, right? But Meta will know me as a user, right? So there is a disconnect. So one, I'm coming from the Facebook ID. Facebook is able to track my activity from my Chrome browser, so they know me. But the website owner, because I don't have any personal information shared on the website, they will not know me, right? But they can supply all the other information that I have done on their website. So that information can also come from the website owner. So what Meta did was they applied something called double tracking. So now uh, when you implement tracking on Meta, they do two type of tracking. One is the tracking through pixel, and second is the tracking through conversion API. So all the data that comes from conversion API and from pixel, then they do something called deduplication. So what is deduplication? Basically what happens is, when you collect the information from two resources and it is the same information, you end up having the same information twice. So let's say you are adding something on Excel sheet, right? If you add the same data twice, then you have a duplicate data, right? And if it is a duplicate data, you have to identify the unique thing. What is like common? Is it the email ID that is deciding whether two users are same? There has to be a common identifier, right? So in case of Meta, there's something called event ID. So all this information that we are supplying here, everything is called event here. So all the information that you were going back to Meta from here, it was called, it is called event. So all the event will have a custom event ID. So all these events will also have a custom event ID. So everything that you do here will have a unique event ID. And because of that unique event ID, you see there's a pixel ID here, right? So page view event will have a unique page view event ID. Do you see on the screen there is an event ID? I have highlighted this. I have highlighted the event ID here, right? Then you have users email ID, phone number, and other identifier. Now let's go in the Meta's platform and let's see how Conversion API actually works. So I'll go inside an existing ad account, which is not a Shopify account, but it still has the Pixel and Cappy implemented. We'll just see how it looks, where to go to check the Pixel and Cappy. So go to your account overview. Within account overview, you will see something called Events Manager. You'll see something called Events Manager here on the right panel. You will click on Events Manager. Can you see my screen clearly? If you're not able to see, I'll just zoomed in. Click on Events Manager here. And within Events Manager, you will be able to see something called data set. There's something called data set. So data sources and conversions are tracked here. Now, I was talking about events and deduplication, right? So all this information about events and deduplication will be available here. So you have all the information about the pixel tracking and events tracking and deduplication will be available here. So when you go through a Shopify account, you will have much more information. But here right now, because we are looking for a non Shopify account, you might not see that much information here. But when we go to the Shopify account tomorrow, I'll again show you the event match quality and everything. See, there's something called event match quality here. So every event that user is doing has a event match quality. So basically what it means is, Meta is able to match everything between pixel data and Cappy data. So the information that is coming from your browser and information that is coming from the website owner, if you're able to match all of it, then you get a score 10 out of 10. But here is a small catch. So additional information that Meta will seek from a website owner is, let's say I complete the purchase on this website. So I'll add my phone number, I'll add my email ID, I'll also add my address, perhaps add my name also, because I'm ordering something, so I want my address to be correct, right? So all this information I supply to the website owner, right? And I will most probably use the same phone number or same email ID, or at least one of them will be same, which is also with Meta. So the phone number I use while creating a Facebook account and the phone number I use for ordering a product here are same. So using that one information, Meta is able to identify that yes, he is the person who was doing XYZ on the website. So Meta will add me to the converted audience. And then I can, as a website owner, you can use my information, like all the information that Meta has about me, all the attributes that Meta has collected about me, to create a lookalike audience. You can also retarget me. We'll discuss about retargeting Wednesday. You can also build a lookalike of me to target similar users that are similar to me because I made a purchase. And then you can also like club me whether I'm a high value user or a discount seeker, and then create a separate campaign based on my purchase habits and the past history that Meta has, right? So all that information is matched here. If you look at the event match quality score, right now it says for this ad account, because we are not using this actively, this ad account, the information says that it is only 3.9. So if I have to increase my score, I should supply more information to Meta and the score will improve. So if you see here what information is applied right now, Meta is able to collect my IP address. It is able to collect the user agent, which is the browser, which browser I'm using. It is able to collect the browser ID, but it is not 100% sure. For 62% of the event, it is able to collect the browser ID also. But here is the additional information that it needs in order to create the score, reach the score 100%. So I'm not able to supply the click ID for this. I'm not able to supply the email address for this. I'm not able to supply the Facebook login ID. There's a unique Facebook login ID also. External ID, I don't know what it means, but it is also there. Then phone number, you can do Google for this external ID. Phone number. So if I supply this additional information, then my event match quality score will become 100%. Now there is a catch. So if you supply, let's say, false information, if you enter just 1111 times in your phone number field, and if you supply that information here, your event match quality score will be 100%. So if you supply 1111 in all the phone number fields, your event match quality score will still be 100% because you have supplied all the information. But it will not help you target the right users. So you'll not be able to create the audience if you're supplying the false information. So as a website owner, if you're spending money on Meta ads, your job is to supply the correct information, right? Now there's something called event deduplication. So we talked about it earlier, right? So there is one unique event ID using which Meta is able to match the user. So event ID would be same in pixel and also in the copy. So it will be a unique identifier. So using the event ID, I will be able to identify that this was the user in my pixel, and this is the information about this user coming from the conversion API. So I should be able to match that, and based on, so match, for matching that I will use event ID, because event ID is unique in both. You know the database rule, right? It has to be one unique key. So that one unique key will match the entire user database. And the more important aspect here is, the better your deduplication data, one, you will have better conversion rate, because then your cost per conversion is low. Then your cost per conversion is low because Meta works on a value based principle. Let's talk about that now. So here you will see the entire information. Any question about this event match quality, uh, how to check it, where to check it? So to reach here, you need to go to the events manager. Within your ad manager, there is something called events manager. You'll reach here and you will see the information that you're collecting. So there are two graphs here, right? Information coming from the browser. This is the information that is coming from the pixel, and information coming from the website, right? And then event received by integration. So if it is a unique value, there are 54 events. If you deduplicate, the number will adjust accordingly. So let's say Meta is able to match 10 event IDs, then the number will come down. So right now it's not unique. There are 12 browser IDs. 7 information came from the server, so total 19. But if you match this, let's say this 12 also has this 7, then the total will be 12 only, because these are the same people, right? So that's the process of deduplication. Any confusion here? I think there is so many technical terms today, and I'm sorry about that, because that is important. Any confusion? Any confusion question so far? No, sir. Pixel is one unique pixel. So there is something called event ID that will be unique to every asset. So every action that you take on Meta's like website after going from Meta will have a unique event ID, and that unique event ID will have a variable called page name. So it will capture the page title separately. Any other confusion, Tony? Anybody else? Dinesh, Tony, Harjeet, Arpita, Shashank? Anything? Any confusion so far? Awesome. So if it is clear, then can we move to something that also is important? Uh, we have to talk about Meta's bidding strategy, how Meta bidding works. So far, it is it clear? So far, is it clear? Any confusion? Anything you want to know? Any confusion? Anything you want to know before I move to the next part, which is the how Meta's bidding principles work? We'll quickly cover that, and that will be like the fundamental lessons for this section. Awesome. So if it is all clear, let's talk about how Meta's bidding works. So there are three important elements in the Meta's bidding method. We'll talk about each of them. This first thing called total value. So that's a like exact value that you get out of the entire exercise as an advertiser, as a platform, right? Then it has certain elements to calculate the exact value, and I'll come to that. Give me a second. I'm opening a graph that will able to explain this, and then I'll share my screen again. So Meta has an algorithm, or the AI algorithm, that works in the backend. It's called Lattice, Lattice, Meta Lattice. You can search more about it. Uh, Before 2019, Meta used to have multiple siloed systems, and after 2019, they clubbed everything into one. They have clubbed everything into one, and I'll show you on the screen how it actually works. We'll also talk about the. Let's first understand this, then I'll open, maybe share my screen again and open that. So Meta works on a principle called estimated value. So I'll explain. If I'm not able to find that on the screen, the graph that I was looking for, I will explain using my own examples, and then I'll give you resources that you can refer to later on. So this is the Meta's latest platform, and if you want to read it further, I'll share this link also. So they have an architecture, a model architecture that is like a unique to them. It's a complete system. So it has a product, it has ad format, it has conversion objective, privacy policy, clicks, app install, like what are the different objectives, better outcome for the people or advertisers, what are the sample inputs that you get, and how it reaches to. So every action that you perform on Meta's platform, it goes through something called bidding. So for every action, as an advertiser, you have to pay, and the payment, how much you should pay, is determined by you. You have the control over there, or maybe you can give some control to Meta. So that is one variable that you can supply. But in addition to that, Meta also use 3 4 other metrics, and those are important metrics for them. But before that, you have to also understand something called placements. We talked about placements in the last session, but let me quickly open both Facebook and Instagram so that you have a real time understanding of what a placement actually means. Okay, let me open my Instagram also, so you'll understand what placement actually means. So first let's talk about Facebook. So the story ads, all these story ads appear here. These are the story placement area. If you scroll with all this, you will get an ad. If you start looking at this, you will get a sponsored ad very quickly. So this might be a sponsored ad or not, I'm not sure. But the moment you start seeing stories, you will automatically see an ad. So this is a story placement for Facebook. Similarly, you will see a placement here also. So this is one guy who is targeting me, and this is the placement for him. So this is the side placement. Then if you go down here, this is the Meta feed. So this is, I think this is sponsored ad, right? Yeah, this is a sponsored ad. So this guy is targeting me with a sponsored ad, and it is coming in the Meta feed. So this is another placement. Then these are some of the examples, but there are a lot of other placements. So this is, video is running, right? Within the video, Meta can place an ad which is called in stream ad. So there's something called in stream ad that appears when the video is running. So this is a feed ad. On the left and right hand side panel, it's another ad that is showing. So this is a placement, this is a placement, this is a placement. So let's say I'm a user, right? So Meta would know at what time I'm available online. I'm looking for like looking at my feed, going through Facebook or Instagram, and at that time, based on how much valuable I am for certain advertiser, and possibility of me taking an action. One is what is the advertiser value, second is what is the possibility of I taking an action, is multiplied, and then you come at a final number. Multiply this with the bid also, how much you are willing to pay for that, and finally you come with an advertiser value. So that's a unique value you have for every placement against every user. So if an advertiser, I have to get this placement, then I should be ready to pay X amount for that. That X amount is decided by where I am in the bidding. But in order for that to my ad to be visible, I also should win the, I should also have the highest value for that particular bid. So it's like millions of people, millions of places within this platform. Every placement is bidded. So everywhere there's a bid going on. And wherever there is a highest advertiser value, that person will win this particular bid. That's a simple principle that Meta works on. And here you are not targeting your, so you are not competing against, that's one myth I want to clear. When you are targeting people on Meta, you are not competing against your own competitors. So if you're selling t-shirt, you're not just competing with people who are selling t-shirt. That is one aspect, but that's a smaller aspect. You're competing against other everyone who is targeting me. So if you're selling t-shirt to me as a user or you as a user, then as an advertiser, you are not competing against somebody else who is selling t-shirt. You're competing against maybe this guy, maybe this guy, maybe everyone who is targeting me. You're competing against every brand that is targeting me, not just people who are in your domain. When I'm spending, let's say, 15-20 minutes in a day on Facebook, that is the time period when every advertiser that is trying to reach me will target me, right? And they will bid for all the placements. So they will bid to appear here, they will bid to appear here. Then every placement has its unique value. So it's not standard, right? There is no standard rate. There may be higher chance for me converting based on the right hand side ads. Maybe I'll convert better on the ad that is visible on my feed. Maybe I'm more interested in looking at Instagram stories. Maybe I'm more interested in just looking at Instagram stories, and anything that comes here, I have a higher chance of converting. Maybe in the Instagram feed, if I see an ad like this on Instagram feed, I have a higher chance of converting. So based on all those factors, a bid, a fee, advertiser value is decided for each. And this entire exercise is handled by this platform called Meta Lattice. This is the platform that works 24/7, delivering the ad to the best user who is most likely to take an action. So ad as a platform, Meta's performance is decided by how much conversion, how much money I'm able to bring back, right? So their focus is always on performance. They want to deliver ad to somebody who is most likely to convert, and most likely to convert is one of the factor that decides the advertiser value. So you can put higher money, but still there is no guarantee that you will get that click. If somebody else is more likely to convert, they have a higher estimate of conversion, maybe they will get a priority over you at that particular, for that particular person. If I'm more interested in a certain ad, certain brand, Meta will collect that information separately, and based on my behavior, they will collect an estimated rate of conversion, like estimated chances of conversion, and based on that, they'll come up with something called advertiser value. And that advertiser value will decide whether I will see the ad of X or Y, because wherever there's a higher chance of conversion, that ad will be served to me. So it's not just bidding, but you can always increase the bid, and because bid is one of the multiplier, and force me to see the ad. But if I'm not converting, ultimately that's a loss for you. So as an advertiser, you want to win the bid where you want to have the, where you have the maximum possibility of winning. Are we on the same page? Am I making sense? Is it too complicated or not able to understand? So far, whatever we discussed about Meta's bidding strategy, is it clear or is it confusing? Talk to me, guys. Any confusion so far? Is it clear? Are you able to follow me? Pratik, Tony, so far any confusion, any questions here? Awesome. So if it is clear to all of you, then I think we are done for today. In case you have any questions, just let me know. And in the meantime, just look at this link that I was just sharing on the screen, the Meta Lattice platform. And I will also share a link where it is explained how this advertiser value is calculated. So this is a public link. Advertiser value calculation is also available in public domain. So ad ranking is available on the public domain. You can also look at that. I'll share that link also. Just read these two things, and tomorrow we'll discuss the actual Shopify campaign. We'll go in detail and understand how it works. Any other questions? Harjeet, just read about it. You will be able to understand. Go through the second link, the medium link that I just shared. That will make it clear how the advertiser value is calculated. And something important, we discuss about how the creative first strategy works. So what it means by when we say Meta is a creative first platform. We'll discuss that tomorrow. So if you don't have any other questions, then that's it, guys. I think we covered a lot of things. We talked about first we talked about the tracking, then we discussed the Meta's bidding strategy. Tomorrow we'll discuss the Shopify campaign, how to set it up in the Meta platform, and we'll go into the practical implementation of the tracking features that we just discussed, how to set that up in the Shopify platform. We'll discuss that tomorrow. So that's it. No more questions then. Can we close the live for today? Or anything you have to discuss right now is the time. How many of you are already part of the community? If not, then maybe join now. All of you who need certificate of completion, please be part of the community, and there may be some advanced courses. So we are also recording a complete advanced course on Meta. We'll try to give access to few people who are like really engaged in the platform. We'll come up with some strategy around that. But for now, if you're not part of the community, join that. There are a lot of benefits. And as I told you earlier, we'll convert this into paid community the moment we have 1000 plus members. So we have around five. Let me see how many people are there. We have around 515 members so far, and the moment it reaches 1000, we'll convert this into a paid community. So if you need certificate, if you need lifetime access to this content, then join now. We have 514 members, and then there are five more requests that just happened, so that will be around 520. So tomorrow, maybe if we reach 1000, then you will not be able to get access to this. uh, Harjeet, for community access, just check the description of this video. Let me share the link here also. If you're still not part of it, then join it now. The moment it reaches 1000, we will convert this into a paid community. We'll start charging somewhere around 10,000 rupees per month. So if you need it free, join now. So that's it, guys. If you are still not here, join now. We have around 514 members so far. Let me share my screen and just show it so you are clear what kind of community is that. I'm just sharing my screen for a moment. In the meantime, if you have any questions, ask now. I see there are a lot of people here. And guys, like, share the video also. So this is the community I'm talking about. If you can see on my screen, there are 5 pending requests and there are 514 members already. If you have still not joined, then join now. The moment this reaches 1000, you may be end up paying for joining here. So right now it is free. Make sure you join it. Make sure you add your right name. Whoever is this guy AK, please have your right name, because that will be printed on your certificate, and later on we'll not be able to change it because that's an automated process. So if you need certificate, then add the right name here. You can interact with everyone who has already joined. So like there's a chat feature, but do not spam people, otherwise you will be blocked from here if you get the complaint. Make sure you join it. There are 519 members. Just click on the link to join if you have not joined it, if you need certificate and if you need access to the content in future. Otherwise, no problem. If you don't need it, just study, keep studying the YouTube live. If you're happy with that, we are fine with that. All right, guys, so we are in the session for more than an hour, and that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll start again with the Shopify live campaign. Till then, good night, take care, and thank you so much everybody who joined. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and come back tomorrow to keep learning. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye. Good night.